Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is William. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today you're joining me in the Cessna Grand Caravan. We'll be departing out of Hippo Valley in Zimbabwe, going to Walkersons, which is in South Africa. Two small airports, challenging airstrips. Should be a good, fun, challenging flight. I hope you all enjoy. If you do, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get into the flight. All the way, and we're gonna go ahead and go mixture on cutoff as well. It starts on full like that, but it's gonna ask us to put it into low idle here for the startup. Now that we're good to go with this, let's go ahead and disengage our parking brake, and we'll request our pushback. Kind of get this out of the way. Actually, we'll just go ahead and close it. And see around the airport here, really remote, small little airstrip, not even really a paved ramp or anything. We'll be taking off this direction here, as the runway kind of slopes downhill from all the way up there, so regardless of, unless there's like a huge wind advantage, I think we're going to take off, we're going to taxi up to the right and climb the hill a little bit to use gravity to get out of here. It is a really short airstrip, just about 3,000 feet or so here at Hippo Valley, so we want to use that gravity to our advantage if at all possible. So we're gonna just push on back, keep on going, and we'll call it good there. Go ahead and get the parking brake set once again. Now then, we can continue with our checklist. Get our battery on. Not nav. Beacon light on. Avionics 1 on. Let's see. Fuel boost 2 on. So now we're going to engage the starter. And we're going to wait just a moment, and we're going to throw the mixture into low idle. See everything really ramp up. Now that we can go starter off. It's probably a little too accelerated on the mixture, but I'm going to call it good. Go avionics 2 on, and good to go there. We've got a good engine start, good oil pressure, oil temperature. Everything looks like it's pretty much in the green. We've got a bunch of fuel on board, so we're good to go there. And we'll go ahead and, oh nope, wrong one. Go ahead and increase the mixture all the way there. Okay, and then this is just before takeoff, so we should be good to go on that one ourselves, basically. So we're started up now. Go ahead and get our taxi lights on, pitot heat, stall heat on as well, and we will disengage our parking brake and taxi off to the right here, set standard pressure, or not standard pressure, local pressure, 3012. So back taxi on the runway and go through setting the rest of it up. Basically, since we're on the runway, let's go ahead and get our navs and strobes on just in case. So we're going to set our navigation over to GPS, get it on the purple or magenta needles. You can see 271 miles to our destination. Pretty cool little airstrip as well. Should be pretty different to where we're departing out of. But I think it's going to be really challenging to land into there. I said we got a short runway to take off from here, so climbing the hill, we're going to turn around, hold the brakes, all that good stuff, go full power, and try to blast on out of here. Trying to keep the turn as tight as I can. Should be fine on the available runway, but might as well get as much as I can rather than use a ton up. Just straightening the aircraft out. We'll call that good. And let's go ahead and set our altitude. I think we're going to cruise at 12,000. We're going to the southwest, so an even altitude. It's a bit longer, so I know we could probably cruise higher if I really needed to, but go for 1,000 feet per minute and set our flight director to on, set our heading bug on 330 just so I can kind of hold that. We'll go ahead and engage heading mode as well, so flight director gives us a little bit more to go off of. Let's see, the only other thing I want to set up real quick is I want to bring up my wind data on the PFD. So we do have a little bit of a tailwind here, but it is more of a crosswind, I think, to justify doing this. So take off downhill. Let's see, we've got our flaps in. Trim set, okay. Let's go ahead and add the power. We're going to use all of it. Really redline this thing out of here. Now let's release the brakes. Landing lights on. Should have done that first. Alright, looking for 70 knots. And rotate. We got a positive rate, so we are up. Hold about 8 so degrees here on the climb for just a minute. Get up and airborne, get some altitude, and then we'll kind of bring it down. Settle a little bit lower. Back off on the throttle so we're not stressing the engine that much anymore. Let's get our climb rate set there the way we want it. Go ahead and go autopilot engage, nav mode on. I want to put it in half bank mode as well, just since we're pretty slow. I don't want to get a little too carried away with banking the aircraft around. So pretty well established there, so let's go ahead and get our flaps in. Sinks a little bit. It's recovering into the climb, so that's good. Take a look around real quick. See, I think this scenery looks really cool, and it's going to be really different to where we're landing as well. And just quick, you can see there was a paved airport out here for us, or a bigger paved runway to take off from. Kind of wanted the challenge and a little bit more of a bush flight kind of feel, flying into and out of some small airports today. So we got good airspeed now. We can go ahead and bump our climb up. Go up to 1,200 feet a minute. Just need to take the hand off the throttle at this point. I always seem to just reset it. Pull the RPM control back a little bit so it's not redlining. Looks like a nice clear day. Nice small airstrip to take off out of in the Caravan, always feels good. And we got a decent jaunt in front of us off to Walkersons, so go ahead and get our taxi light recog lights off. Call it good on that. Should also set the... I did. Okay, good. I was second guessing myself there, thinking I put the boost pump, I had left it on. But good to go on that. Our airspeed's dropping a little bit with the climb. We do have a decent amount of fuel on board and a little bit of cargo and everything as far as the weight and balance is concerned, but I should be able to do just fine up to 12,000. Not terribly worried about it. And just taking a look at the map here. Let's see, does this pan not work? Yeah, okay. Well, we're basically just going to be going southwest, mostly southwest, and like I said, it's about 265 miles from us at this point. Before kind of jump through the cruise, I just kind of want to take a look around a little bit more. I appreciate the scenery. It's a little bit flat. Nice and green in some parts. Actually looks decently developed in a lot of parts, a lot of like farmland kind of look. And we'll be getting into some terrain with where we're going, so. Nice little bit of contrast, different scenery. Some challenging airports always makes for some good flying. So we're pretty much solid on kind of this pitch for the climb out. We are getting a little bit of a headwind as well, so kind of looks like it might be slowing our trip down just a touch. Nevertheless, we're at 7,412. Not much exciting is going to go on for the next little bit, so I'll go ahead and cut, let you guys enjoy some of the scenery on the way, and I'll pick you back up as I start to plan our descent and approach into Walkersons. Hope you all enjoy. I'll see you soon. hope you enjoyed the cruise on over. We're back about ready to start our descent. It's getting kind of bumpy as we get over some more terrain. It's kind of taking a look out, just some light clouds. We're at 12,000. They're a good bit below us, kind of getting into some mountains. Online, the airport elevation we're going into says it's right around 6,000 feet. So we don't have too far down to go as far as our descent is concerned. So we are quite close, just about 18 miles now. And we're going to go ahead and plug in our descent altitude. Initially, we're going to go down to 9,000, just make sure everything's good with that, and set at about 1,000 feet per minute on the descent. And let's go ahead and pull our power back. A nice power setting for the descent here. The runways at Walkersons are runway 18 and runway 36. Regardless of the wind, I think I'm going to try and land runway 36. Obviously, if the wind is just crazy down on the ground, we may have to alter that, but 36 is going to be sloping uphill, so and quite significantly as well. And it's a very narrow runway that we're going into, which should make it quite interesting. But we're going to plan for 36 regardless, kind of, right now. So that does mean we're probably going to overfly the airport and kind of circle back in, which would be good. We can kind of visually identify the airport and check it out, see what it's got going on the ground before we decide to make our approach in. So it's just 13 miles up in front of us. As a matter of fact, it should just be off of our nose by a little bit at this point. Hopefully the information online and everything was somewhat accurate. As we're getting close to 10,000 feet, we're going to go ahead and put our landing lights on. We're going to also just decrease our altitude. It looks like we'll be fine to go down even more, so we're going to set for 7,500. About 4 minutes out of the airport. We'll take a look outside real quick and kind of see what this area looks like. Definitely looks like there's some more farm land or agricultural stuff going on. Some nice mountains around. Really rural looking area. Should be a cool little airport to fly into. And narrow runways are kind of the bane of my existence, so hopefully that doesn't go too poorly as well, but we will we'll find out. Airport's just 9 miles off our nose now, so we're just going to keep the altitude coming down. Double check local pressure, so 3015. We should basically have a runway running this direction, kind of, off our nose somewhere. And like I said, we're going to want to circle around and land on runway 36. It might be on the other side of this little kind of peak up here. As long as we can keep coming down to about 7,000, we'll call that good. 7,000, 7,500. We just kind of scrape over the top of this. Not going to be too concerned with it. 1,000 feet to go on our initial descent. See, I don't think we need to really set anything else up. It's just going to be flying the actual approach into the airport. See here, we're kind of like on the top of a, it's not quite a plateau, but definitely elevated up above the area off to the left, and some higher peaks if we went a little bit further to the west. is 4 miles now, so yeah, I do think we're going to be going to the other side of this ridge before we really get to identify the airport. So we're going to go ahead and turn our autopilot off. Got the yaw damper off. I really, really enjoy the turbulence over the terrain. It may not be exactly perfect, but it does feel pretty natural. Also going to keep a reduced power setting and kind of get our airspeed under control. Get us set up to where we can get some flaps in whenever we need them. 2 miles off our nose now, and this looks like a little kind of town, village area. Not quite a village. That we'll be going into. Yeah, that runway is narrow. Wow. Okay, so just try and trim the plane out so you can kind of see. This is our runway right here. This little, like a little painted line of asphalt on the ground is where we're going to be landing into. So we'll fly this kind of ridge line out. We'll just keep this heading, and then we'll drop back down. There's the airport off the left wing. Look at how narrow that runway is. That is really cool. All right, so let's keep the altitude coming down and let's keep reducing our speed. We'll throttle back even more, and like I said, we'll just fly this ridgeline out
500.
a little bit more, and we'll turn in and we'll set up for an approach onto runway 36 into Walkersons. We're in the white arc, so we might as well get our first notch of flaps out. The nice balloon that happens. Just keep an eye on the airspeed. This thing does take a bit to spool up because it's a turboprop, so I don't want to let the airspeed get too far away from me. Got our shadow down there. That looks really cool. Has some beautiful scenery off in front of us. Let's take a look. We do have the airfield just off there to our left. So let's pull the power back even more. Let's keep coming down. We're rather high. Get all the flaps out now. Really slow the airplane down. We'll go ahead and turn for final here. At 80 knots, I don't feel too worried about getting down onto a decent glide slope. We do have some terrain initially right off of the runway, so if we do need to go around, climb, left-hand turn is what we're going to plan on. So
500.
just keep the airspeed around 80, really narrow, and we do have about a 6-knot crosswind is what the wind reading's given me. Right. Try and keep it straight. Oh, I thought we were going to go off to the right side of the runway there. That was hectic. Oh, that's a lot of concentration to keep. Look at how short and just narrow this runway is. It's literally like a painted piece of tarmac on the ground. We just barely fit on in our Caravan here. It was a pretty smooth landing though, all things considered. And look at how cool, that would be a really cool go around in all honesty. banking out to the left and kind of going out through that little valley. I said the first airport, you know, a little bit flat, where we departed out of, Hippo Valley, a little flat. Maybe not the most exciting airport in the world, but small, little, short airstrip, just under 3,000 feet where we departed out of. We have a longer airstrip here, but man, look at how narrow this is. So we're just trying to get turned around without running off the runway here. Call that a success, and we will taxi on down to parking. It's hard for me to speak today. See, I'm gonna have to, I'm on idle and I'm having to ride the brakes as we're going downhill now. I think it was the right call to land 3.6. A slight tailwind component with the wind, but honestly negligible. It's on the ground here, it says it's only 4 knots, so. That was a fun flight, challenging landing. If you want to check this airport out, it's Foxtrot Alpha Delta Uniform. If you like this flight, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Also, let me know in the comments if you want to see some more flying like this. A cool little challenging, maybe a little bit more obscure airports. It's typically the kind of flying I like to do. I love taking the Caravan out, so. Just gonna pull off into the grass here. I guess this is where we're supposed to be. So we'll go ahead and get the parking brake on, get our landing lights off, our strobe light, nav light off, go ahead and get all of our anti-ice equipment off as well. So now then we're going to go ahead and go through, let's see, avionics, 2 off, I'll leave 1 on for now, I believe. Ignition normal, all that stuff's going to stay on. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead now and come over, I think we'll go mixture cutoff, go fuel boost off, that's all good, avionics 1 off, we can get our beacon off now, and pull the RPM control all the way back, and then we're ready to go for a battery shutdown, and that is us parked here at Walkersons. Really cool little airport. Obscure, but enjoyable flight. Cruise was a little bit long. Ultimately, I think it was worth it for that challenging of a landing. And it's always nice to take the Caravan out. As I said, if you like the video, make sure to give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more content. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the flight, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.